Hello and good evening to the viewers. This is Salmaji. I'd like to introduce myself as a motivational speaker and also a podcaster. Basically, I'm trying to reach out to the audience and to the viewers who are very keen in getting ahead in the future, regardless of their color, creed, culture, or age or level of education, because as far as your mindset is concerned, there is nothing that is impossible within the limitation that you have of your age and your capacity to do things and achieve things. So I'm basically here to speak to you about how to be in the present, because once you are able to know that you are in the present and you are able to assess yourself and you are aware of your surroundings, then only you can move forward. And once you identify your presence, your surroundings holistically, then you are able to weigh down what things you can do, and then you can journal it and then practice it and make it into a goal. Now, until you do those things, you cannot reach your goal. But if you do tell your mind from the beginning and get it stuck in your subconscious that you would like to attain something, and you are very sincere and disciplined about that goal, then there is a way. But you need to know your presence, where you stand, what are your positives, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses. Until you pen them down and you write it out in a journal, then you wouldn't know. Now, many people do not have time. So that's why I'm here. And I'm trying to reach out to people who are very simple and who may be underprivileged, not very qualified. However, they can go out and achieve if they try hard enough. So, what it is never think negative. And like I mentioned earlier, that my focus is basically on the present. So, where are you now? Are you working a 9 to 5 job and you have got a mortgage, plus you've got a family, and at the end of the month, you hardly have any savings, right? Now, with the mortgage, there is one thing. This is general information. Now, if you put your hands together, your mind together, you may be able to show consistency in your repayments, because that's where your value, your consistency, and your future will start shaping up. Because if you can compromise in the meals, the food, the groceries, and other luxuries just for a short term, whilst you're looking for another job, just to get that extra money in so that you can have occasional luxuries, which everyone deserves and everyone wants. So, what I would say is that I'm just taking one example for a mortgage. If you're consistent in your mortgage, then what happens is as time goes, your property appreciates in the value, and you will always have a backup for redrawing through the equity that you have, and see the payments towards any small debts that you may have. However, always think positive that you don't have to do a redraw. That's number one. Number two is you must have a very good mindset. Now, you cannot have a mindset and a drive just like that. You got to think hard. You have to talk to yourself. You use the journals. You start writing down the good things, the positive things you did on the day in the present, and the positive outcomes, and what were the things that you could have done better or you'd like to do the next day and achieve it, and what are the actual strategies that you had set that by the end of the week you will get X, Y, and Z done. Now, by doing that, by journaling, it may sound like, Oh, I don't have the time of the day. I come home, I shower, dinner, kids, homework, back to school in the morning. You get in the grind of things. But it only takes time, and time is one thing that hardly any of our people have at the time, because life is going so fast at the moment. We don't have time for each other. However, if you make time to meditate, talk to yourself, because when you're journaling, you're writing out what you've done, it's like talking to yourself. Instead, generally speaking, you don't have to make an appointment and go to a counselor or even a psychologist, depending on what mental case you may have or what issues you may have. Instead of paying for that, you considering you are at a working class level, you can do it yourself. Now when you do it in your time, your mind thinks what you are writing, and at the same times you get the affirmations that, hey, hang on, this is on paper or this is on my laptop, and now this is stored. I'm talking to myself. And whilst I'm writing down these strategies and my goals and my achievements that I'd like to have, it is confirming to me. So it's like you're talking to yourself. So those are some of the tips that I'd like to talk about in future. And not only that, about manifesting. Now, if you want a job or if you want to go ahead, you don't want to be complacent in one job, especially when you are young. I mean, these days, age is no barrier. People with 78, 80, they're still doing good, and they're still aspiring to do things because it gives you a purpose. Without having a purpose in life, how will your life be? You've got to have the purpose, and you've got to have that journey that will have the ups and downs. However, to combat that, one very good resolution that I've got is always find a quiet time for yourself, your me time. You talk to yourself, you breathe, you talk to the universe, you feel the breeze coming and brushing your face, going through your hair. And if you're not wearing a t-shirt for a gentleman, it just brushes through you. You feel the wind, and you feel to yourself, nature is so beautiful. Just talk to the universe. It will talk to you. The birds will start chirping, and you'll realize that after having that 15-minute even near a river or at the waterfront or just by walking, when you go home, your mind is so rested, and you would have not gone those pounding thoughts about bills, the finances. You will look forward for a nice dinner, for a nice sleep. And remember, sleep is very important, 7 to 8 hours at least, but do not quote me. For different individual, it works in different ways, but these are everything general that I'm talking about. And once you have a good sleep and a good shower in the morning, you are nice and fresh. And don't cloud your mind with what will happen in the office today, whether I'm going to have an interview or whether I have to make this payment. There are always avenues for extended payments, extended days to make the payments. And the thing is, if you are going to get your report from your boss or your peers, now it will be what it will be. You cannot change it, and you cannot preempt it. By preempting it, you are creating that anxiety within yourself that will make you far more less energized and worked up than you would be just walking in the office, having a coffee, starting the day. Comes your interview or your session, you just go in with what it will be and believe in the universe. So I believe for the starters, it should be good enough to let you know that how I can resonate with you at an individual level from the very basics, because from the basics, from the confines of your home, from you yourself, your mind alone, you can achieve a lot. You would have heard lots of stories, lots of podcasts on the YouTube, how people had very humble beginnings and how they rose. When they acquired a job, they didn't stay there. They always thought, I can still do better. And yes, the achievers out there didn't get it overnight. They did have a journey, and they did live in the present and always stayed in the present and always manifested. So, with these words, I would like to say good night. And this is a short podcast from my side. If I get good responses, I would be glad. And then next podcast, I would be talking about something else, some other areas that may really resonate with you, something you need to hear from someone who is very sympathetic and someone who actually tells for what it is in reality. I mean, everyone else does. However, there are podcasts and there are sessions where things may be too advanced, or there may be a course to follow before you can get something. But I can speak to you and resonate with you and put your a heart at ease and make you sleep peacefully tonight. And just believe in yourself, believe in the universe, and be in the present. Good night. This is Salmaji. Thank you. Till next podcast.